What's going on, guys? Jake here with Uncommon EDC, and today I'm checking out the Civivi Altus, which is another button lock from Civivi, the second Civivi button lock I'm reviewing on the channel, the other being the Conspirator. This one's a little bit of a slimmer, sleeker design with a thumb stud rather than the flipper tab. And besides being kind of slimmer, I really enjoy the aesthetic of this one. Just the burgundy with the black blade look, I think looks really good. They have 4 different variations available currently, and that may expand in the future, but the G10 variants both run at around $72, and then the most expensive, which is a green micarta with the Damascus blade, I think is right around $92. And then there's a wood-handled one in between, somewhere in the $80 range. And so, a lot of different options. I think this one, for me, looked the best, but obviously that's going to be a matter of preference. And I mentioned the Conspirator. I have one here just for kind of comparison's sake. You can see that the Altus is much smaller, both length and just kind of width and overall weight. Everything's smaller about it. And so, it's probably about, I want to say maybe an inch and a half shorter, and the handles are actually pretty similar length. The Conspirator is slightly larger, but maybe a quarter of an inch, nothing crazy. So most of that's going to be in the blade, which the blade is a 3.05 inch blade with a 3-inch cutting surface. I wish they had gone just slightly smaller, maybe 2.9596 like you see in a lot of blades, and the reason for that is a lot of places have sub 3-inch knife flaws, and so getting it under 3 inches would make it a little bit easier for people with those laws to carry it. I mean, it is, the cutting surface is exactly 3 inches, but it's really going to depend on who's measuring it, if they're measuring the cutting surface or if they're measuring the entire length of the blade. And so you can probably argue that it's 3 inches, but that doesn't matter so much when the measurement's happening. You might get it confiscated, you might get a ticket, you might get hassled for it. And so it would be nice if they just left no question that this was a sub 3-inch blade. Not something I'm super worried about, but it does make it accessible to a lot more people. But overall, really digging the aesthetic of this and just kind of the overall size. It's a much more manageable size. I like the Conspirator a lot more, but this one's just easier to carry because it is smaller, and just got a really nice design, and it's pretty thin comparatively. It's about a ½ inch thick in the handle and 0.11 inch thick in the blade. And overall, it's 7.12 inches open. That handle is going to be right around 4.15 inches, and it weighs in at just 3.1 ounce, so pretty light. The blade steel is Nitro-V, and it is on ball bearings. Really the only complaint, I guess besides the length, which technically is a complaint, but doesn't bother me really. The only complaint I have is that there is a little bit of button stick when you open this too hard. If you really kind of flick it open, you'll get a little bit of stick there. It's not too bad, and it's only when you really fly that blade open. But the action on these is excellent, so it's pretty easy to do. So there is a little bit of button stick. It's manageable, but I probably will try and take it apart and see if I can get rid of that. I was watching a Bees Blades video, and I think it might have even been this model. He kind of had a theory that when lube gets into the button, that a lot of times is what's causing the button stick, so just kind of cleaning it out can sometimes resolve that. So I'll probably give that a shot. I'm actually going to give this knife to my wife because she really enjoyed it, both aesthetically but also just the size of it. Fit really well in her hands, and she doesn't have the same issue really. I guess she's opening it a little bit softer than I am. She's able to open it very reliably with that thumb stud as well, but hasn't really noticed a button stick. And so either way, this will work a little bit better for her. But yeah, she really liked this, and just kind of, it fits in my hands pretty well as well. Kind of full 4-finger grip there. A little bit kind of squinched at the pinky, I guess. And you do feel this pocket clip, you know, these pocket clips by Civivi, or people, some people hate them. Most people are pretty indifferent, but some people do hate these pocket clips, and you do feel it for sure. It's not necessarily a hot spot, but I'm aware of it when I'm using it. And I've broken down quite a few boxes with this and opened a lot of packages, and it's never bothered me, but I'm always aware that it's there. It is a reversible pocket clip though, and very deep carry. There's a slight, maybe millimeter or even less, that kind of sticks out just above this point at the end of the knife, but it's very deep carry and it is reversible. And so overall, I've been really happy with this knife. It is on bearings. I mentioned the thumb studs, which is a little bit different. Civivi actually has quite a few different opening mechanisms for their button locks. Obviously the Conspirator, which I showed earlier, has that flipper tab. And the action on both of these is excellent, no complaints there, and I'm assuming that's probably true for all of their button locks. But yeah, so the Conspirator has the flipper tab, this has the thumb studs. I know they have a Elementum button lock variation that only has the button lock. There's no other opening mechanism, which is pretty unusual, except for obviously automatic knives, because the button is what releases it. But that's pretty unusual for manual knives to only have the button lock without another opening mechanism. I don't actually have that knife, but may check it out at some point. Another one that just hit the market is the Civivi Chevalier. I believe that one is a flipper tab as well, but that one's a little bit higher on my list than the Elementum, just because it's newer and looks like a really good knife. But overall, very pleased with this, and again, my wife loves it. Pretty much immediately claimed it. I've had this one for a good 3 or 4 weeks now, and so I've been carrying it and just kind of messing around with it off and on. But I keep it at my desk, and she's stealing it constantly, and so definitely going to give this over to her. And maybe something to consider if your kind of wife or significant other is looking for, or anyone with really smaller hands is looking for a knife. She really enjoyed this one, so got that cosign from her. But yeah, let me know what you think if you have one of these, what you think of them, or any other button locks that I should check out. I'm definitely, like I said, the Civivi Chevalier I'm probably going to check out, and I might be butchering that name. Spell it Chevalier, but it might be pronounced differently. And then I probably also want to check out the Kaiser Original at some point as well. But other than that, if there's other button locks you think I should check out, it is one of my kind of favorite locking mechanisms. They're always just super fidgety and fun to play with, and this one's no exception. The action on it is excellent, so really enjoying it. But thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It really helps the channel a lot, just getting that interaction, and helps with the algorithm and kind of promoting my videos. But really appreciate you taking the time to watch this, and I hope you have a great one.